Yeah.
I always say doing hair is like doing math, but instead of numbers, it's colors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you have to add
hard.
colors together and like subtract colors. And
For sure.
it's just you learn every single day, and the day you stop learning is the day you become a horrible hairstylist. So
yes,
well, I try to always learn.
Good morning and welcome to In the Know with KO. I'm your host, Kristen Adams, also known as KO. And today I have a very special young lady that I would like to introduce to our younger audience as well as my audience. So I'd like to introduce the one and only lovely Eva.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So before we get into the who you are and how we are, I am going to get you comfy on the mic with a bit of rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Curly hair or straight hair?
Curly.
Mountains or ocean?
Ocean.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Yeah. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Always.
Always.
Sneakers or sandals?
Sneakers.
Chris with a C or Chris with a K?
With a K.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason Eva and I are on this show together, although I could technically be her mom, and I consider myself a mom figure in her life, even though she has an incredibly awesome mom who was on our previous show, Dr. Sally, shout out. Eva and I met because her amazing boyfriend is one of my older son's best friends. And there's this amazing group of friends that I feel like I've kind of adopted. Like, you guys are all like my children. You guys have spent so much time at our house, at our events, and we've come to your stuff too. And we love and support you guys both close by and from a distance. And now you're also my hairstylist.
Yes.
No pressure on today's look, by the way.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, I have to make sure that I put it all together,
Yeah.
even more than normal.
No, you did great. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I also just want to point out, you've always been what I consider an old soul. You've always had, from the first time we met, you've always had this genuine kindness and warmth about you.
Thank you.
And after getting to know your mom a bit better, I see where that directly lines up and comes from. Eva, if you could live in any time period, past or future, when would it be and why?
Definitely Vikings.
Oh, that's pretty exciting.
I feel like I would have been the best warrior.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been swinging that axe and just kicking
Yes.
butt and
Yes.
taking over empires.
Yes. Well, your boyfriend, Chris, who, again, one of my other sons, he and my oldest met playing baseball. They were little boys, and my husband and I just fell in love with him, first of all, because he could keep up with our level of sarcasm, which is pretty much a critical element to get along with our family. But he's such a hard worker. And I love that he's just like his dad as far as, work ethic and being good and being so handy and talented and artistic, which being artistic runs through all 5 of the boys in their family, but him especially. And I think it's probably what drew you guys together, that you're also artistic, obviously being a hairstylist now for so many years and having a beautiful client base. But I think that I've seen you guys do projects together.
Yeah.
You guys have done like DIYs and some home renovations, and you've even gone to work with him before.
Yes.
That's huge. Did you like going to work with him?
I liked it for like the first 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
And then once I had to get on my hands and knees and like paint a floorboard, I was like, I like being at the hair salon.
Because you're on your feet and it's moving differently. Yeah.
Yeah. I love what he does. And I did love spending the time together while I joined him at work. But I did let him know I will no longer be clocking in at the construction sites with
There you
him.
go. As needed. That's okay. You can support him in all the other ways that you do. So you're just so great that way. And you also, you do such a great job of taking care of all your friends, even in the crew. Like I remember recently you guys were on a friend's trip and my son wasn't feeling well and you like popped up out of bed and you're like, I got you, Dylan. I got you. I'm going to get you some soup and some tea. And you handled it. So you're so great. And that's the nurturing side of you that you clearly received from your mom. It's the act of service. And that's something you and I have in common too. Yeah. What drew you into wanting to get into the beauty biz besides being beautiful?
Thank you. Growing up, I always had a hard time with my hair. It was always never long enough, or I never knew it was even curly. I just always had a hard time figuring out what my hairstyle actually was. So I really wanted to create my own shampoo and conditioner company. So I started doing some home research and just on Google trying to figure out what the best thing would be.
Awesome.
And then I went to college and I was studying business. Like my first year, I was like 2 months in and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to help me make good shampoo and conditioner. So I decided to drop out and kind of not tell anybody.
Oh, no.
And then sign up for beauty school. And it's actually kind of funny how I decided to do cosmetology. Like, it was purely shallow. I saw that it was hair, skin, and makeup, and that it was called cosmetologist. And I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. It sounds like astrology or something.
It does have a nice ring to it, and it is a title. And, you know, I've known a lot of women that are your age up to mine and beyond who have created incredible careers for themselves. And, you know, you can look at it as just being a job, or you can look at it as a career. And I think that there's nothing wrong with making that shift the way that you did because of the passion to make it so much more than it's not just a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely get to know your clients, but you are also providing a service and you have a product you want to develop and you want to help make people's lives better. You know, that's not something that you take lightly. I mean, listen, I am not downplaying the importance of school and education, okay? I am looking straight at the camera and I'm going to tell you right now, I am living proof. I am a high school dropout and I never went to college. I don't recommend that route. That was a lot harder and there's probably a lot of things that I had to learn the hard way. I probably could have benefited from business courses and that sort of thing. However, there's something to be said about emulating a good mentor. And I was really fortunate. I had some incredible bosses who they know who they are. And if they're listening, I love each one of you because you are all still in my life. And I have tremendous respect for each one of you because you helped me get to where I landed, okay? As an independent, successful businesswoman and entrepreneur who can now support my husband with multiple companies. And, you know, you can still acquire knowledge through experience if you're open to it, okay? So, for example, working in a hair salon or working in any form of cosmetology, you still have the opportunity to learn, right?
Every day.
You know, you have to learn different computer systems. You have to learn different scheduling processes. And there is a management aspect, right? There's time management and there's customer service management, right? There's a lot of components.
Yeah, there's so many components.
Yeah.
I always say doing hair is like doing math, but instead of numbers, it's colors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you have to add colors together and like subtract colors. And
for sure.
It's just you learn every single day, and the day you stop learning is the day you become a horrible hairstylist. So
yes,
well, I try to always learn.
I also love that you incorporate wellness into your life and you pour that into your customers.
Yes.
Just like your mom, just like Dr. Sally. I think that's phenomenal that you've grasped onto that and you at your age, especially, you know, and I'm not trying to downplay the fact that you are in your 20s. I think that's incredible that you've created a career for yourself, okay? And you're using that opportunity as a platform to educate the women that are in your chair and to potentially inspire them, right?
Yes.
So give some examples, not like actual stories, but of maybe who inspired you or and it could be somebody local or someone famous, but who inspired you to be that type of person?
Honestly, my mom, my family, my dad, everybody just around me growing up had such strong like passion to help others and to spread like joy and just wellness. So
Yeah.
I'd love to keep that going. And
You do it. You do. Don't say
thank
you would like to
you.
keep it going as if it's not already happening. I'm letting you know right now, it's happening.
Thank
And
you.
I was so super impressed that as soon as I mentioned something about food dyes, you were like, oh, yeah, I try my best to make sure that we don't have that. I don't cook with it. I try not to purchase things that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is so awesome to hear because a lot of young adults are completely unaware. And that's
Yeah.
something that we're trying so hard, and I think it's great that, with your mom being a doctor in chiropractic care, that you guys can kind of team up in the community and educate people that, it's the emotional well-being as well as what we're putting into our body and on our body and skin, right?
Yes.
It's all relative because it all directly affects how we feel and such. Now, being this lovely, inspirational, influential young woman that you have grown to be, which, by the way, I'm so super proud of you.
Thank you.
You're also a bit of a survivor.
Yeah.
And I know one of those is crazy roommates. And I want to share on that because I feel like for any of the young adults listening, they are in a roommate situation because cost of living is high. It's not easy to live on your own, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, a brief story about a crazy roommate situation and or how you overcame it, because that was something I know that was tough.
Yeah, so it was really hard. This is when I decided to move out, when I also dropped out of school and decided to do beauty school and kept my family kind of in the unknown. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm ready to fly. Like, I'm ready to be free. Like, let's go. I met this girl at my hosting job. She's like, I have an apartment on the beach. Like, I really need a roommate. Like, do you want to come live with me? And I was like, oh my God, on the beach? Like, yeah, like, count me in. Like, I don't
Sure.
even care about how much it is. Like, I'll
Sign
figure
me
it
up.
out.
Yes.
I'm making $9 an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be able to make $860 a month. Like, no problem. And so I move in, everything's going great. We have like a good like first couple weeks, and I just noticed that she was so possessive over everything. She also had a dog and would never want to like walk it or just like do things for him. And we were in like a top floor apartment, so it broke my heart to like.
And you're an animal lover, so that's
Yeah,
tough. I know that's tough. Yeah.
So I took over kind of like walking the dog and like doing little things to be with the dog. And the dog hated cats, which is a good little note. So I'm walking the dog one morning. I'm late as heck to go to beauty school. And I just see this little ball of fluff like running towards me. And I'm like, oh my God, is that a kitty? And like it heard me say kitty. And it ran straight up, crawled up my whole body and sat on my shoulder. And the dog is going crazy, wants to eat it. So I'm just like trying to balance having this cat on my shoulder and like this dog. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is my cat now. Like, I'm not going to school today. Like, I'm hanging out with my cat. So I go upstairs, I tell her about the cat, and she's like, heck no, like, you're not keeping this cat. So that was when I knew things were going to be rocky. But I didn't really care what she said, and I was like, you're going to deal with it. Like, I'm keeping this cat. Like, it literally chose me. Yeah. It matches your dog. Like, they're both black and fluffy. Like, it's just, it's the destiny. Yeah. And things got crazier and crazier. There's like a million little stories, but she just hated the cat. And like we shared a bed because I was 19, she was 18. We were in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment on the beach. We had our own private beach, but we didn't have our own closet.
Hey, you're doing what you got to do to make it work. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
And she would wake me up in the middle of the night, like shaking me because the cat was like playing with a bottle cap. So I would be like, screw this. Like, I can't wake me up in the middle of the night, like screaming at me. So I'd show up at my mom's house, like 3 a.m. I'd wake up, I'd bring the cat with me, and I would just go back in the morning after she would be at work. And I did that for a little bit, and it just started deteriorating me.
Yeah.
I started to not feel like myself. The choices she was making, it wasn't feeling good. Like all around, just nothing was feeling right. Like I just felt down, down, down.
That's all. That's your intuition telling you. That's your gut instinct kicking in, saying, "Get out of here."
Yeah, exactly. And the final straw for me was I was going to school all day, and then I had an hour in between school and work, and then I would go to work. And on that hour, I saw that she had wet clothes in the washing machine, and I knew she was going to be gone all night, so I was like, oh, like, let me switch it for her. Like, I don't want it to, like, smell and, like, get nasty for her or whatever. Like, I was tidying up the apartment, and then after work, I go on a date. I come home, and I'm wearing her dress. But, like, we decided that we could share clothes, you know, because we're sharing a closet, you know, just put it back. So I was wearing her dress on my date. I'm coming back upstairs from the date, and I get a call from her, and she's like screaming, cussing at me. I'm the most horrible person because I didn't hang up her underwear on a hanger.
Okay. I don't even know how to respond to that because I don't even fold my underwear. I literally throw it in a drawer, and I'm actually one of the most organized humans out there. Like I'm the woman who has like the little containers in the closet and all that. Mm-hmm. I've never even folded my underwear. Hanging it?
Exactly. I'm like, girl, I'm not hanging up your underwear. Like, just be grateful it's not growing mold on it.
Yeah.
Like,
how about saying thank you for putting it in the dryer?
Yeah.
That was so thoughtful of you.
Exactly.
Okay. So that was like the icing on the cake for you, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And so I packed up literally everything that I could in a garbage bag, cat in hand, and I just left, and I never went back. Never wanted to open a line of communication with her. Yeah. Just called it quits because...
And look at you now.
It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth anything being with her.
You know, sometimes what I've learned is fighting and going backwards, whether it's demanding money back for something or answers to questions for something that didn't go right. Sometimes it's so much more taxing to like face all of that, and it's unhealthy because it's dredging up all of that like unhealthiness and negativity. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just move on.
Exactly.
You know?
Cut cords and just goodbye. Like, enjoy your life. I'm going to enjoy mine.
There's actually a scene in one of my favorite movies. It's called A Bronx Tale. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
I've heard of it before.
Okay. Highly recommend this movie for anybody in a relationship situation because it, in my opinion, it teaches a lot of old school lessons and, you know, about guys being a gentleman and women being a lady. And in one of the scenes, the kid somebody owed him money, right? And one of the head mob guys was like, "Listen, let him go. That's the cost of getting rid of him. Don't chase him down for that. What is it? You know, I forget how much money it was, but you know, no matter how little or how much it was, you're gonna chase that guy down the block for that money.
Yeah,
let that guy go. That's the cost of getting rid of him." And let me tell you something. I remembered that, and even though it was a movie, it's like it's a good life lesson, you know.
Yeah, it stuck with you.
It does. It does. It sticks with you. So, what do you value most in a friendship? What quality?
I love being able to just laugh and be silly and it's just that instant connection of giddiness and just happiness. I love that in friendships.
I think you bring that out of people naturally because like I remember the first time Christopher brought you over and we were all, you know, it was probably one of our parties we had at the house. We're always having some kind of get together. And I was like, she's just so sweet and fun and genuine. You know, that's something that you can't teach, authenticity. You can't teach somebody how to be nice.
Yeah.
You could try. You could try to influence them. You could try to encourage them. But those are the qualities that I love in a person, that the things that you can't teach. So
thank you.
I love that about you. You know, being an overcomer is something that I treasure in you as a young adult. And, you know, I know you talk about the fact that you dropped out of college. But, you know, I would encourage you to say instead, you made a decision to change your education. I wouldn't consider that a bad thing because I would if you were still doing something unrelated to your goals, but you're achieving goals and you're not even 30 yet. Like,
thank you.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I just think a lot of people work because they're forced to get a paycheck, and you're blessed enough that you're doing something that you love, something that you set your mind to, and, you know, overcoming past relationships, you know, boyfriend drama, I know you've even had a stalker once in your life.
Yes.
I have too. I have too. I mean,
yeah, it's
part
crazy.
of me is taking that as a compliment. Like, man, I am so wonderful that you just can't leave me alone.
Yeah.
Man, I am awesome. Said no victim ever.
Yeah. It's a good way to twist it and to feel good about it after you conquered it.
After you conquered it. But you know what? I'm glad that you are willing to share that happened to you at your young adult age, because I know that sometimes we can feel shame, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed that happened, or I'm so embarrassed I allowed that to happen, because I felt like that for many years, being in a physically abusive relationship. And then, and he was stalking me and coming after me. And it's like, on one hand, I'm being told I'm all of these horrible things, but you don't want to leave me alone. Well, if I'm all these horrible things, why don't you want to leave me alone? Like, you're the crazy one, So I think that it's so healing to share, because you know what you find? You're not alone.
Exactly.
You are not alone.
It's honestly so common. Every time I share a story.
That's sad to me that it's so common.
Someone had, I feel like it's more uncommon to not have a story at this point between everybody.
And I wish them well. You know what? Anyone, and I'm sure I had a role to play. I'm sure I pushed the buttons, and I'm sure that I didn't necessarily make it easy, because I was a spicy young woman. I have calmed down quite a bit in my 40s, because it's too painful not to, and I just want peace and happiness and joy. But there was a time where I was a bit of a fighter in my time, and I definitely didn't make it easier. I perpetuated an already bad situation. And I think that it's also tremendous that you love to give back. So I want to kind of land the plane with you a little bit here and share you have a genuine passion and love, not just for the beauty industry and inspiring women, but for the cutest little sea turtles in the world.
I love them so much. I volunteer with the Highland Beach Sea Turtle Rescue from the months of May to October. Last season was my first season, and I was so blessed to have such an amazing mentors and people in the program with me that taught me so much. Shout out, Anita. I love you.
We'll share that information, too, on the show. So, question for you. I know that there's sea turtle hatching seasons, right?
Yeah.
When are those seasons?
So they hatch between I would say July to October.
Okay.
But it really pops off August, September, and then October it kind of goes down a little bit, and whatever hatched is hatched. But what we do is we go very, very early in the morning before any other person has touched the beach, and we follow the track marks. We look at all the track marks on the sand, and we follow them, and there's so much life. There's foxes, there's birds, there's raccoons, there's so many animals you would have never expected to be hanging out at the beach.
No.
But we follow the trails, and you'll see that the sea turtle little hatchling trails, and there's millions of them, and you follow them, and it comes from a hole. So we only are allowed to dig a certain amount underneath, and we dig and we check all the eggs, and we make sure that there's no alive sea turtles that are stuck in there, because the baby ones that are a little bit weaker will get stuck under the eggs or in the sea walls, and there's no one gets them out. So we really help to keep them alive, because they are dwindling and they are getting endangered. So
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how significant this was here in South Florida. And I'm sure, there's other coastal communities, but here in South Florida, when I was working in the hotel business, some of the properties in my region were oceanside, and we were commanded by the government to change the lighting along the back of the properties, where we used to have these huge spotlight type of lights. They were told to get rid of them because it was drawing the sea turtles away from safety.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? I had no idea. So I remember learning it. I was probably not much older than you at the time. And I was like, wow, that's so fascinating. And then I remember hearing about some of these organizations in the communities that are rescuing turtles and protecting them and guiding them. So shout out for your heart for those little guys. They're so cute. And if anyone listening has an opportunity to witness the hatching, I encourage you to be a part of it, because it is the cute. You have no soul if you don't see these little critters as being the cutest things you've ever seen. Even if you're not an animal lover, those little sea turtles, they're so cute. Eva, thank you for being a guest on my show.
Thank you for having me.
I just love you to pieces. I'm so super proud of you for the role that you play in our friend and family community.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to have you back and talk about future endeavors and things that you've accomplished, if that sounds good to you.
Yes, I would love that. It would be such an honor.
I love it. So, this is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I don't take it lightly. You know, someone taught me a long time ago that if someone comes to you for advice, it's the greatest compliment, and it shows you've achieved something as a human being and as a leader and someone who inspires. And that's exactly why we have this show. So thank you for listening. And today I hope you are in the know about being a young adult, overcoming, achieving your goals, and not being afraid to shift to get there, and being passionate about things and following your dreams. It's so super important, and you're never too young to start to do that. If you enjoyed today's show, please comment, share it, and don't forget, 5-star review. Thank you for listening.